This is our news, the weekend edition, and on the broadcast tonight, is Abaco on the brink of another power generation crisis? Residents of how much is BPL spending to fix the problems? Police investigating a murder on Joe Farrington Road, and the fight to fund the prescription drug plan.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Noels, and thanks for joining us. The country is tonight mourning the loss of one of its national icons, Sir Derek Noels, who passed away this afternoon. His grandson, Roscoe Thompson, confirmed to our news that Sir Derek passed away at 2:15 this afternoon in Doctors Hospital, where he had been for the last 2 weeks. Sir Derek etched his name in history by winning this country's first Olympic medal, a bronze in sailing during the 1956 Olympic Games in Melbourne, Australia. In the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, he would go on to claim a gold medal along with Cecil Cook. He was the oldest living Olympic champion in the world. Sir Derek, who was a well-known philanthropist and humanitarian, had been involved in almost every aspect of Bahamian society. He was also a successful businessman and one of the driving forces behind the One Bahamas organization, which strived to unite all Bahamians. For his many accomplishments and contributions to the country, Sir Derek received a knighthood in 1996 and was awarded the Bahamas' Order of Merit in 1997. A Royal Bahamas Defense Force boat was also commissioned in his honor back in 2014. Just last November, he celebrated his 100th birthday. Sir Derek leaves behind his wife, Lady Holly, and 3 children. In other news this evening, following a complete failure of the Wilson City power plant in Abaco, which resulted in persistent outages and a power rotation schedule in the ensuing days, residents of that island are wary of power outages. BPL CEO Whitney Hasty says the company is putting its money where its mouth is to ensure that the island stays connected this summer.
So part of the summer readiness program, the power company will be investing a little over $5 million between now over the next 4 months to make sure that comes to bear. Things that we're looking at is certainly the protection system around the island and on the Keys, and also the implementation of firmer supply to the Hopetown area. Those are predominantly the areas where we're having some issues. And we're going to make sure that residents come summer 2018 don't see the same unreliable power that they would have experienced in 2017 by mitigating those issues.
Hasty says the capacity is there, even with air conditioners running during the summer months.
On the generation side of the house, we have double the capacity that is needed. So the brand new plant in Wilson City is designed for 48 megawatts. The generating capacity we have in Marsh Harbor is another 12 megawatts. So we've got about 60 megawatts of total generation on the island, with the peak around 26 in the heat of the summer. This time of the year, we're typically less than 20 megawatts on generation.
In news from the crime beat, another man was shot and killed overnight. Police say the victim was standing on Joe Farrington Road around 2 this morning when a lone gunman approached and shot him. The suspect then fled on foot. The victim was taken to hospital by paramedics. However, he later died. Police are appealing for your help in solving this latest homicide. Meantime, traffic officers were busy investigating the country's latest traffic fatality early this morning. Police say it was shortly before 4 a.m. when a blue Honda Accord and a 2003 Cadillac Escalade collided on John F. Kennedy Drive near Lakeview Cemetery. The accident resulted in the passenger of the Honda being ejected from the vehicle. Paramedics were called to the scene and the passenger was pronounced dead. As for the drivers of both vehicles, they were transported to hospital where they are listed in stable condition. From the health sector, with the cost of the prescription drug plan more than doubling in the past 6 years, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says it's becoming increasingly difficult to fund. With more, here's our Jasmine Brown.
Sands says just like national health insurance, there has to be tough decisions about the NPDP when it comes to locating funds, as the cost has increased by millions in recent years.
We also are going to have to look at the National Prescription Drug Plan, which has been costing, I am informed, about $15 million or so on an annual basis.
But Sands says that $15 million price tag is a challenge.
It is now a challenge to continue that program, which has made such a phenomenal difference in the lives of so many people.
Since the September 2010 launch of the plan, the number of beneficiaries has quadrupled. The former Ingram administration introduced the drug plan instead of NHI. In the first 5 years of the program, an estimated $40 million was spent. The plan covers medication costs for people with certain chronic diseases. Unlike traditional NIB benefits, beneficiaries do not contribute to the plan. In 2015, former Labor and National Insurance Minister Shane Gibson expressed concern regarding the sustainability of the program. Gibson said it was never intended for NIB to be the sole contributor to the fund. 3 years later, Sands is expressing similar concerns. Sands said health officials will also recommend a way to make the national drug plan sustainable.
What we are saying is that this is a good thing, but we're going to have to figure out a way to sustainably fund it.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The son of convicted drug traffickers Dwight and Kevin Major, along with another man, pleaded guilty to kidnapping a college student. 24-year-old Ravon Dwight Major and Sebastian Cartwright changed their pleas at their trial before Justice Bernard Turner following a closed session in the absence of the jury. Major pleaded guilty to abducting Okoyo Cooper and was placed on 5 years probation. If he breaches his probation, Major will serve 3 years in prison. As for Cartwright, he also pleaded guilty to kidnapping and stealing and was placed on 5 years probation or 3 years in prison if he gets into trouble during that period. Cartwright was also ordered to pay Cooper $1,000 in restitution. Cooper was on campus at the College of the Bahamas back in February of 2012 when he was approached by two men and taken by force. He was later found at Marshall Road in the trunk of his 2000 Honda Inspire car, gagged and tied up. We'll take a break here, but still ahead tonight, why public consultation should play an important role in decision making. You're watching the best in Bahamian news. There's more.